Hi. Today we're going to see how I can use this document to convert measurements. So the question is, how to convert measurements using the STAR grid for mathematics reference materials. So the first thing we're going to do is that we need to understand that this document is very useful. It has the length in 2 units. We have the customary units, we have the metric units. We know also that the length is between the biggest unit to the smallest. It's written is in this way: the biggest unit to the small unit. For example, to reach a mile, you need to walk 1,760 yards, right? To reach a yard, you need 3 feet. And the same thing, you need 12 inches to meet it or to do a foot. The same thing about kilometers. You need 1,000 meters to make a kilometer. You need 100 centimeters to make a meter. And you need 10 millimeters to make a 1 centimeter. So it is placed biggest to the smallest. The same thing here in volume. Bigger to the smallest. You need 4 quarts to make a gallon. You need 2 pints to make a quart. You need 2 cups to make a pint. You need 8 ounces to make a cup. The same thing with weight and mass. You need 2,000 pounds to make a ton. And you need 16 ounces to make a pound. The same thing here. 1,000 grams make a kilogram, and 1,000 milligrams make it 1 gram. And then you look at time. To make a year, you need 12 months. To make a year, you need also 52 weeks. To make a week, you need 7 days. 24 hours make a day. 60 minutes is an hour, and 60 seconds is a minute. Everything is from big to small. From big to small, big to small. Now, how I can use this document? So let's go here. If you're going to convert measurements from big unit to a small unit, you are going to multiply. If you are doing a small unit to a big unit, you are going to divide. For example, let me write an example right here. Example. So let's pretend from a big unit to a small unit. Remember that you are going to multiply. In a big unit, we're going to use a yard. For example, if you got 3 yards, how many feet? Remember, big to small. And I told you are going to multiply. What you are going to multiply, you know you got the number 3, right? You know that you're going to multiply 3 times a number will give you how many feet. Now, what number am I going to use? So let's go back to yards and feet. If I have here yards and feet, I know to make a yard, I need 3 feet. Now, if you multiply by 1, you will have the same number, right? So we are not using 1. You see all these 1s? We are not going to use those 1s. We are going to use, in this case, we're going to use 3. So that means that you're going to multiply the 3 yards that already you have times 3. And when you multiply 3 times 3, will give you 9. So how many feet are in 3 yards? There are 9 feet. Now, if you're going from small to a big unit, remember that you are going to divide. We're going to do the same example from small unit, right? So imagine that you have the same thing. Let's do this. 9 feet. If you have 9 feet, how many yards? So you know that a feet is small and a yard is big. So that means that you're going from small to big. And I told you they are going to divide. You got the number 9, right? 9 divided by a number will give you how many yards? I almost make a mistake. So 9, how many yards? And you know it's division. We're going to go back again. You have 1 yard, you got 3 feet. We are not using 1 because any number divided, multiplied by 1 will give you the same number. We're going to use 3. So 9 divided by 3 equals 3. So that means that 9 feet equals 3 yards. Now we're using this document to answer these questions right here. So I'm going to have both side by side. Remember, if you're doing big to small, you are going to multiply. If you are using small to big, you are going to divide. So let's get started. I'm going to do only maybe 5 if I have that time. So 360 seconds, and we have minutes. And then let me go back to seconds and minutes. And I know right here, seconds and minutes. I know the minutes is the big unit. Seconds is the small unit. I'm going to write here. Seconds is the small unit, and minutes is the big unit. And I'll go back here. I know that if I'm going from second to from small to big, I'm going to divide. What I'm going to divide? I know I'm going to divide 360. I'm going to divide it by a number. And I go back here. I cannot use 1. I have to use 60. So that means divided by 60. And let me show you a trick. If I'm going to divide 360 divided by 60, and with division, if you got zeros at the end, in multiplication, you add the zeros, but in division, you subtract the 0. That means that if you had a 0 here and a 0 here, you can use this right here out. Now that number is not, that number is not that big anymore, right? I subtracted 1 0 from the divisor and 1 0 from the dividend. That means that I don't have that big number anymore. So I have 36 divided by 6, and I know that 36 divided by 6 is 6, right? So that means how many minutes do I need? I need how many minutes? Do I need 60 minutes or do I need 6 minutes? Actually, we need the number 6. So 360 seconds equals 6 minutes. How you know? Because if you multiply 60 times 6, will give you 360. Now, let me go back now. Let me do another one, not that close to this because I need a space. Let's see, this one. 9 liters equals how many milliliters? And I go back here, liters and milliliters right here. I know the liter is the big unit and milliliters is the small unit. That means that I'm looking for the big unit to a small unit, and that means that I need to multiply. So 9 times a number equals, right, how many milliliters? So that means that I'm going back, and the number that I have is 1 or 1,000. I told you that don't use 1 because 1 will be the same number. I have to use 1,000. So if you multiply 9 times 1,000 will be 9,000. So my answer is 9,000 milliliters. Now, let me do another one. Let's see. Quarts and gallons. Let's do this one. Quarts and gallons. I know that quarts and gallons is right here. And I know that the gallon is bigger and the quart are the smallest. But in this case, quart is small and gallon is big. And I told you that if you're going from small to big, you are going to divide. That means that 20 will be divided by a number. What number I can use? You see 1 and 4? You're going to use 4. So 20 divided by 4 equals 5. That means that in 20 quarts equals 5 gallons. Now let's do it one more time. And we're going to use, let's see, I already used liters, I used seconds, I used quarts. Let me use another one, days. Let's do days. So days and hours. Days and hours. I know that one day has 24 hours. That means that I'm going from a big unit to a small unit, and I'm going to multiply 5 times. What number is this? 24. So I'm going to use this 24. So what is 5 times 24? Let me do it like this. This is 20. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. That means that I need, let's check again, 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. 120 hours equals 5 days. I hope that this video is useful for you. In the assignment, you will see this STAR reference sheet. I hope that you learn how to convert measurements. Thank you.